Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I hope you're having a good day. This is the second part of adding and subtracting integers. Now, in the first part, we talked about what integers are. They are positive and negative whole numbers and zero. And we talked about our integer model where you have positive integers where we represent those with a black circle and negative integers where we represent them with a white. And when you put a black and a white together, you get a zero pair that cancel each other out. And we looked at integers, adding integers that have the same sign. So same sign, you add them up and you use the sign that they have in common. And we did the assignment pictures and germs, which were all integers with the same sign. We're going to add another element on now. We're going to look at what happens when you have two integers with a different sign. We'll still use our model where we have blacks represent positive and whites represent negative. So we'll model out number one with the integer model. Now remember, the sign in front of the integer goes with the integer. So this is -4 combined with +3. -4 combined with +3. Now let's actually look at what that will look like with the integer model. So 4 negatives would be doink, 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 doink. And 3 positives would be doink, 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 doink. All right. Oh, that's too many. Doink. There's 3 positives. All right. Now, let's check if we have any zero pairs. Well, we have this and this could cancel. We have this and this could cancel. We have this and this could cancel. And we're just left with one white integer disk left. So our answer then is going to be -1. So look at what we did here. In this case, when the integers were different sign, we subtracted them. 4 take away 3 is 1. And then since we had more negatives, the answer was negative. So if we were to go to this guy then, and I'll just model this one out because we have the time. We have 5 negatives, 2 positives. So if I was to model that out, 5 negatives would be doink, 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 doink. And 2 positives would be doink, doink. And then to model that out, or to look at the zero pairs, I have this guy and this guy go away, this guy go away, and I'm left with -3. Once again, look at what I'm doing here. I'm subtracting 5 take away 2, and since I have more negatives, the answer is negative. So we're not going to model this out, but we know that when you have two integers with different signs, you subtract them. So this is -567. This is +287. So I'm going to subtract them, and then I'll worry about the sign after. 567, take away 287. Okay, 7 take away 7 is 0. 6 take away 8, I'm going to borrow from the 5, make this 4, make this 1. And 16 minus 8 is 8. And 4 minus 2 is 2. Now since I have more negatives, the answer is negative. So if I have two integers and their signs are different, I'm going to subtract them. And if I have more negatives, the answer is negative. Now let's take a look at this situation. 3 plus -2. The reason I have these parentheses here are just to separate the plus and the minus sign. That's why those parentheses are there. Okay. 3 positives. Well, let's model this out. We'll model out 3 positives. Doink, doink, doink. And 2 negatives. Doink, doink. Okay. Let's check for zero pairs now. I have a zero pair here, doink, doink, and a zero pair here, doink, doink. I'm left with 1 positive, which I can write as 1 or +1. Now look at again, all I did when the signs were different as I subtracted, but this time I had more positives, so the answer was positive. Okay, 10 combined with -1. Well, let's model this one out. I have 10 positives. Doink, 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 doink. And I have 1 negative. Doink. This time, I only have 1 0 pair. Doink, doink. So I'm left with 9 positives. Or just 9. So once again, I'm just subtracting them when the signs are different. And then I have more positives, so the answer is positive. Now you're not going to model this one out, but you're going to use the idea of using the rule. I have positive 194, and since they're different, signs are different, I'm going to subtract them. Subtract 126, and then I'll worry about the signs after. Now 4 is smaller than 6, so I'm going to borrow from the 9, make this 8, and make this 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. So the answer is 68, and since I have more positives than negatives, it's positive 68. Now let me show you the ones that always throw people off. Okay. Number 7. 3 subtract 8. But I don't think of it like that. I think of it as whatever sign is in front of the integer goes with the integer. There's no sign in front of the 3, so it's like positive 3 and negative 8. Positive 3, negative 8. I'm going to model this out. I'm going to start with my positives. Doink, doink, doink. Then my negatives. I need 8 of them. Doink, 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 doink. Okay, make my 0 pairs now. This guy goes away, 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 this guy goes away. And I'm left with 5 white circles, which is equal to negative 5. Once again, look at what I did when the signs were different. I subtracted 8, take away 3. And since I had more negatives, the answer was negative. Okay, look at this one. Whatever sign is in front of the integer goes with the integer. Positive 3, negative 10. So if I was to model this out, I'd have 3 positives. Doink, doink, doink. 10 negatives. Doink, 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 doink. How many 0 pairs can I make? I can make this guy and this guy cancel, this guy and this guy. And it doesn't matter which ones you cancel, like just as long as you're canceling a black and a white. I can say this guy and this guy cancel. And I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whites, which means my answer is negative 7. So this time, since I subtracted them, and since I had more negatives, the answer was negative. Okay. This last one, positive 168 and negative 567. I always do this. I always circle the integer and its sign. This has no sign, so it's positive. This is negative 576. I'm not going to draw circles for this, but I am going to recognize that since the signs are different, I'm going to subtract 576 minus 168. 6 is smaller than 8, so I'm going to borrow from the 7 and make it 6. 16 minus 8 is 8. 6 minus 6 is 0. And 5 minus 1 is 4. Now, since I have more negatives, the answer will be negative. So in all of these ones with different signs were we were subtracting. Let's establish a rule. When 2 integers have different signs, so like positive, negative, negative, positive, in this case, I subtract them. And I use the sign of the larger integer. So if I have more positives, the answer is positive. If I have more negatives, the answer is negative. You don't have to use the integer model unless I tell you. Hopefully you pick up the rules from those patterns. But if you want to use the integer model to help you a bit, you can. Your assignment today is going to be to correct pictures and germs and then do the assignment titled Business and Brontosaurus. Hopefully those sets of rules make sense. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.